Assalamu alaikum. The differences between eukaryotic and prokaryotic cells. After we have taken some information about prokaryotes and eukaryotes, now we will talk about the differences between them to be more clear. Prokaryotes are divided into two kingdoms, bacteria and archaea. Eukaryotes are divided into four, human and animal cells, plant cells, fungi, and protozoa. Human and animal cells are studied in biology. Plant cells are studied in botany, and others are studied in microbiology because they are microorganisms. There are some similarities between prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. These are both have DNA, of course, because it is the genetic material. Both have ribosomes, which are molecules or organelles that translate genes into proteins. Both have cytoplasm, in which the components of the cell float, and both have a cell membrane. Now let's see some of the main differences between prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. Prokaryotes are unicellular, while eukaryotes might be unicellular or multicellular. In eukaryotic cells, the nucleus is enveloped with a nuclear membrane, a double membrane layer containing nuclear pores. While in prokaryotic cells, the nucleus is not enveloped. It is called nucleoid, which means nucleus-like. So you can see the genetic material scattered in the cell. Eukaryotic cells contain membrane-enveloped organelles, like endoplasmic reticulum and Golgi apparatus, while prokaryotic cells do not contain any enveloped organelle. Eukaryotic cells use oxygen to produce energy in mitochondria, while in prokaryotic cells there are no mitochondria, so it depends on special enzymes on its membrane responsible for the respiration process. In eukaryotic cells, the DNA is linear and bound with proteins, while prokaryotic DNA is usually circular and naked of proteins. Eukaryotic cells reproduce by mitosis and meiosis, while prokaryotes reproduce by binary fission, and we will discuss these division processes in detail later. Prokaryotic cells do have a cell membrane, but additionally, they have also an additional rough layer that is the cell wall. For eukaryotes, plant cells and some fungi have a cell wall, while human and animal cells only have a cell membrane. They do not have a cell wall. In terms of size, eukaryotic cells are usually way larger than prokaryotic cells. So this is the prokaryote and eukaryote. Now you might be wondering, what about viruses? What is their classification? Are they prokaryotic cells or eukaryotic cells? In fact, viruses are not living organisms, and they are not even considered cells, because they do not fulfill the characteristics of life, which are regulation, responsiveness, metabolism, growth, and reproduction. As for the virus, it does not have metabolism, does not grow or reproduce by itself. Instead, it needs a host cell to reproduce. That was all. Now let's do a quick review of the information we learned. Prokaryotes are divided into bacteria and archaea. Eukaryotes are divided into human and animal cells, plant cells, fungi, and protozoa. The DNA in eukaryotes is linear and bound with proteins, while prokaryotic DNA is usually circular and naked of proteins. Both have ribosomes and have a cell membrane. Most eukaryotic cells don't have a cell wall, including human cells. Prokaryotic cells do not contain a real nucleus. They have a nucleoid. Prokaryotic cells do not have any enveloped organelles like endoplasmic reticulum or Golgi apparatus. And they have no mitochondria, so they depend on the membrane for respiration. Eukaryotic cells reproduce by mitosis and meiosis, while prokaryotes reproduce by binary fission. This concludes our discussion about the subject. If you want to test your knowledge by solving the questions, continue the video. As we mentioned earlier, the eukaryotic cell's nucleus is enveloped with a nuclear membrane, while the prokaryotic cell has a nucleoid with no nuclear membrane. We said that the plants are eukaryotes, not prokaryotes, and they are one of the eukaryotic cell types that contain a cell wall. Viruses are small in size, contain genetic material, and do not contain organelles. But the main reason they are not considered living organisms is that they do not fulfill the characteristics of life.